So as far as the Patriot movement, and that's what LWN is, we are part of many patriots out there searching for the truth and delivering the news like it should be delivered. All right, welcome back, America, world patriots. We are back on the Burn It Down series. Listen, they finally got us. One was taken down about an hour ago, actually. I got the email for medical misinformation. Imagine that. But that's okay. We got plenty of other channels. That one will be down for a week. We'll be back up on it next week. I actually went out and created some more channels, so we're going to do this pretty much almost every night clear until election night, November 8th of 2022 for the midterms. And guess what? Not sorry. We are going to give you guys an opportunity to call in to express your frustrations. Tonight's topic is the threat of nuclear war, what this current administration seems to be doing or not doing. Your frustrations with Russia, Ukraine. You can talk about anything you want with this current topic and what you think is going to happen. Is there a possibility of a nuclear threat here in America or not? Is America prepared? I don't think Americans are quite prepared for it personally, myself. But, the sound of freedom, to be able to speak freely without censorship. That's what this whole series is about. Burn it down. We're going to take it down. We're going to break it down. We're going to rebuild it on the rock of Jesus Christ. We're going to rebuild this country. If you guys want more of this, I'm going to keep doing it. So sign up for, I think the next channel we're going to jump over to is Liberty Warrior Nation, Channel 5. The mods will be dropping that link in chat tonight. You guys can go ahead and subscribe to it if you choose to. I would like to have you over there because when this one gets taken down, then we're hopping over to Channel 5 and we're going to just keep burning it down. So let me ask Chad a question for tonight. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much have you enjoyed the series Burn It Down? Because me personally, man, it is liberating. It's absolutely liberating to be able to come on and use any word that I want to use. Now, I've heard other channels kind of make fun of it. They've had their snide little remarks about, well, I don't know why they didn't use the word in the first place. Well, you know what? We were told we can't use those words, that YouTube would take us down. And I don't see you guys using those words. You are very cautious about what you say. So, you know what? Let freedom ring. Burn it down. If you got the stones, then let's do it on your channel too. Let's talk about what is really happening. Let's quit talking about all the other little dinky things that are going on in the world, and let's talk about the election. Let's talk about nuclear threat. Let's talk about COVID-19 and what they just passed, a bill the CDC just passed, the vaccinations on young children in schools. Those are the topics that matter today. So I'm challenging any influencer out there. We are less than 21 days away from midterm elections, and it's time to put out the truth. So that's what we're going to do. If you guys enjoy that, I'm going to drop the link here very shortly and let you guys call in. Again, here are the rules. No profanity, no drinking, no intoxication. You got 2 minutes to come on and voice your opinion or make a comment about the topic. I want to try to keep it as close to the topic as possible. We're going to get to all the other topics. I got a whole list of them. We're going to hit a different topic every day. We're going to burn it down every evening that I can come on. We'll see what the weekend brings. I can't guarantee the weekend, but we're definitely going to go 4 and 5 days a week on this series, Burn It Down. So let me drop the link. I'll see if anyone wants to join me this evening for their first 2 minutes. Come up here, talk about the nuclear threat. Now, I'm telling you, folks, I've been watching a lot of stuff. There were Russian bombers that did cross over, I believe, close to our airspace or in our airspace up in Alaska, and they were escorted out. These bombers, from what I was being told, were used for basically one purpose, and that was for nuclear payload. So believe it, don't believe it, fact check me, I could care less. That's what's in the news. Now, there was a drone strike as well. I was also told today that a month ago almost, there were two Russian fighter jets that actually hit a UK, and I can't remember the name of the plane for sure, but it was a plane out of the UK. Now, that is an act of war. Russia's getting ready to move in 120,000 troops on the line. They're mobilizing as we speak. Belarus is getting ready all of their bunkers. Europe is getting ready for getting their bunkers ready, including Poland. So there's a lot of stuff going on the world stage that I think that we need to highlight. We need to talk about it. If you guys have a comment that you would like to make about this subject, the link is in the chat. I'll drop it again. Come up here. Tell me what you've heard, what you think. Listen, if you don't think that anything's going on, if you think that this is just a movie, you got 2 minutes. Come on up here. Tell us what you think. Me personally, I think it's a lot more serious than that. I think that these players are not playing around. I think there is obviously some major concern about what's going on in Russia and the Ukraine right now, and it's affecting the entire world. Then you add in China and Taiwan and the chip manufacturing in Taiwan. Then you add in the fact that it seems like America and China may be going at each other economically. That plays a part in all this stuff. So if you got a different opinion than I do, it's okay. Come up here. Tell me what you think. If you think that the white hats are in control, the military's in control, and all we're watching is CGI, and this is all just a play, hey, you got 2 minutes. I'm not here to beat you up. I may disagree with you, but I'm not going to beat you up. I think this is real life. I think this is one of our realities that we're living in right now. Where this takes us, I don't know. You talk about lamestream media. They're not putting any of this stuff out. They're lying to you. They're telling you that Russia is losing the war. They're running with their tail between their legs. They have no more rockets. Well, here's some breaking news for you. Russia just bought some rockets from Iran, I think it is. I want to say it's Iran. I might be off, but I know that they just bought some. So why are they stockpiling more rockets and they're buying them from Iran? I don't know. Is it a CGI move? I highly doubt it. So I would just like to see anyone else's comment. If you guys want to hop up here, talk about it, there's the link. Don't leave me alone up here. There's got to be somebody out there that wants to hop up here and tell us what they know, what they've seen. A lot of heavy movers across America right now. I did watch the video that Monkey put out. I think it was yesterday or day before. Very concerning stuff. He definitely seemed like he was on edge. He seemed very uncomfortable, especially toward the very end. Monkey, I think he's on to some stuff, and I think there are things that he cannot share. I think that, well, one of my topics is going to be martial law, and we're going to talk about martial law here in America. That's not going to be tonight, but I'm definitely going to talk about it because I always have believed that a lot of the heavy movers that we've seen across the nation in the last few months were heavy movers. And I think there were a reason for those heavy movers moving assets in place. But we'll get to that in another one of these episodes. But tonight, I want to talk about the nuclear threat. I want to talk about the war in Russia and Ukraine and all the other countries that are starting to get involved. You know, you got to realize that once Russia takes Ukraine, which they will, in my opinion, I don't think anything's going to stop them, including NATO. I believe that if NATO doesn't get a grasp on this and doesn't shut Russia down, that they'll dissolve. I believe that you're going to see the destruction of NATO through this war with Russia and Ukraine. What's to say that he doesn't take the Baltic states? And I've said that months and months and months ago when he first invaded Ukraine. I said, hey, I believe he's not going to stop with Ukraine. I believe he'll go all the way and take the Baltic states. That's just my opinion alone. But I just feel like there's more to this than what we know. We probably won't know the full truth of everything that's going on. But NATO is in some serious trouble. Now, we talked about this a little bit last night. America is putting themselves in some pretty deep waters here, because I shared with you guys last night that America is shipping Ukraine a lot of our army surplus, meaning our weapons, right? Military grade weapons that we're shipping over to the Ukraine. Hey, if you believe that this is all just a hoax, hop up here and give me your 2 minutes. But they are shipping our military surplus weapons over to the Ukraine, and that is going to put America in a bad position, in my opinion. Now, I'm no military expert by any means, but if we got in a conflict ourselves and we needed some of that surplus to supply our own troops, how long is it going to take us to build that stuff? How expensive is that going to be to build? We're shipping all that stuff over there. There are also those military vehicles that shoot the rockets off. I can't remember the technical term for that stuff. We've shipped a lot of that stuff over there. That is our surplus. That is our own weaponry that we're shipping over there. I think I'm going to do a show that we're going to talk about, will they bring the draft back here in America? I know that there's been a slight little whisper about that. There have been people that have talked about, hey, if we end up having to go to war and we have to really ramp up the war machine, would they bring back the draft here in the United States? Well, I think it's South Korea is starting to draft people into their army right now, including pop stars. Why are they doing that? Because there's a scare. There is concern that North Korea is posturing themselves. They're shooting off rockets. They're shooting off rockets over Japan. They're shooting rounds into what I believe they're calling the free zone between North Korea, South Korea, as warning, as signals. So very concerning there. Japan is actually preparing. They're getting ready for a conflict. And most of Europe is getting ready for a conflict right now. Italy, France, they're rioting right now in the streets. They're throwing a fit about it. This thing has such a massive, massive effect over not just Western Europe and the world over there, but the ripple effect to America is going to be very severe. If you don't think so, I think you're really just fooling yourself, because it does have a massive effect on America. What's going on over there? We talked about months and months ago. We talked about the fact that these countries have started ending their exports for all their extra food. So they've been stockpiling food for months now. Ukraine, Russia, a lot of those countries over there have stopped exports and have really been stocking up on a lot of things. Now, of course, the threat of war has caused a lot of that. But there is a world food crisis right now going on. There is an energy crisis going on. I mean, you could not truly paint a more perfect storm than what's going on right now. And I'd like to know your opinion. Do you believe that Trump is in control? Do you believe that the white hats are in control? Do you believe that our military is in control? Me personally, man, the evidence does not prove that theory at this point for me. This Biden administration is an absolute dumpster fire, and it's not looking good at all. Let me ask you this question, because I asked Jeff B this question today. Where is General Milley? Now he actually incriminated himself in front of Congress when he admitted to treason. So has he been rounded up and arrested? Is he in Gitmo? I don't know. Where's his replacement if he is? In a situation like this on the world stage, you would think that the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the commander, would come out on national television, talk about what's going on over in Russia and Ukraine, assert to the American public that the military is strong, we're good, we're protected. You haven't seen anything about Milley. You haven't seen anything about the defense secretary. Where is that person? I haven't seen them out there talking about this on lamestream media anywhere. So just a lot of questions that I have. I'd like to try to find some answers. If anybody has those answers, they're welcome to hop up here with me. Let me drop the link again. Hopefully the link is working. Let me grab this link. I'll throw it in there too. I want to hear your guys' thoughts. I want to hear your guys' opinion. I want to hear your frustration. Are you happy with, if you believe in the white hats and you believe in Trump is still in control, are you happy with what's going on right now, and why? Why are you happy? Why do you think that this is all just CGI and this is all just a movie? I'd like to hear your points on that. If you're not happy with it, why? If you don't believe Trump's in charge, if you don't believe the white hats are in charge, why do you think that? I'd like to hear that, because I think it's important to hear all the sides and all the different information that's out there. It's just a lot of stuff ramping up, and it concerns me. Now, I'm not living in fear. I've heard other channels say, oh, people are just living in fear. This is fear porn. This isn't fear porn. This is reality. I live in reality. I don't live in la la land. I live in reality. This is what's happening in my world. I want to talk about it. I want to know what I can do to prep myself and be prepared. And I put my faith in God, and I walk in faith, and I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to come on here and burn this thing down. Okay? They're going to take me down. I don't care. I'm going to jump over and do another channel. They'll take that one down. I'm back up the next night. I'm not living in fear any longer. This is free speech. I got my first caller. Let's bring in our sister, Lori Comfrey. How are you doing this evening, Lori?
Hi, Mike. I just wanted to call in because you said this morning, call in.
It's been a while since I've seen you, Lori.
I know. I'm not too familiar with the nuclear war topic. That's why I didn't know if I should call in tonight, but I wanted to call in anyway and say that I'm second guessing now about President Trump, because I thought something would happen before now. Okay. And it seems like it's dragging on through. It's going to drag on until the election comes around, till 2024, whether we like it or not, because I don't know how they're going to just throw him in to be president. What is your thought on that?
Again, I believe in multiple realities, and depending on what move the white hats make, or Trump, or the black hats, or deep state cabal, world stage, Putin, in all these realities, the chess moves that are made will determine which reality we get at that moment. And for me, it could change at any time. So the path to the White House, and I know that sounds crazy, and I know the critics are laughing right now, for Trump at this point, for me, it's getting blurry and it's starting to fade. So, and that's just me being real, right? Do I think that it's still possible? Anything's possible. I just don't see at this point, without an event, okay, without a severe event to where they possibly shut down voting for the midterms, and then all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden some major event comes in and changes the situation. I'm not seeing it yet. Okay, is the Supreme Court holding special sessions and they're talking about electors being pulled back? That's possible, but when are they going to put it out there to the public? When is this all going to unfold? I don't know. I don't have that answer for you, Lori. But here, let me ask you a question. You heard what I just said. You heard my opening statement. I've been putting out
Mm-hmm.
content about what's going on in Russia and the Ukraine. So here's my question for you. It's a pretty easy one. If a nuclear threat was severe enough here in America, like we went to DEFCON 2 or DEFCON 1, which is the highest alert that we could be at, do you feel Americans are prepared for that?
No, I don't. It's a scary situation. To be honest with you, I think it's going to come when we least expect it, and hopefully God will come first and take us all away, so we don't have to feel that pain. But I don't think America is ready for a nuclear threat.
Now, why is it that you feel that we're not ready? Is it because of education? Is it because of upbringing with our parents, our grandparents? Do you think it's because of our government? Do you think it's because of lamestream media? What is the cause of Americans not being prepared for something like this?
I think everybody's looking through rose-colored glasses. I don't think everybody's awake yet. And well, for me, if I was prepared, you know how you have the masks and stuff that you have to wear to protect from the smoke and that. I don't have that. And you can prep all you want, but when it comes down to it, I just don't think anybody's prepared for that kind of thing. I just hope we don't ever have to face it. But what are you gonna do?
Well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm gonna prep for whatever I can. Okay. If I don't have the
Mm-hmm.
masks, if I don't have a bunker, I just prep for what I can, which is extra food storage, extra water, ammunition would be a good thing to grab extra. And this
Yeah.
is the key. I'm putting my faith in God, and I'm gonna live my life. Okay. I put out this information, so people take it for what it's worth. You could say it's fear porn. I'm just trying to educate people with what's going on in the world stage. And I feel that Americans are under prepped when it comes to a threat. Do I want that to happen? Absolutely not. Would it be something that is so catastrophic that it would ruin the nation? I don't know. I mean, they could do little things like EMPs that could wipe out parts of the power grid and stuff like that. It doesn't have to be a catastrophic event that would burn half of the nation. It could be something so
Right.
small with a tactical nuke that would take out
Like,
half the power grid. Just taking out half the
right.
power grid in America would throw America into such a chaotic uh, apocalypse that people would lose their minds. And that's why I'm saying
Mhm.
prepare, because even if they just
Exactly.
took out a power grid, or maybe they took out the Hoover Dam or something small like that, which would be catastrophic to California, people are just not prepared. So that's why I put out the information. And I don't live in fear. I'm going to live my life. I'm going to go to the baseball game. I'm going to go to the football game tomorrow night. I'm going to continue to live a good life, not in fear, but yet every minute that I have that's a spare hour to go to the grocery store and go to the canned food store and grab a couple of extra cans of chili or whatever, or a case of
Right.
water, I'm going to prepare for whatever happens, whatever comes.
Right. That's all you can do. I've already started prepping because of the hurricane. You have to. Um, I,
Let me
I
ask
live
you
by
this question,
myself
Lori.
now.
How is the recovery of the hurricane? Because I know that your neighborhood was hit there pretty good. You said that some of your neighbors had lost part of their roof. There
Yeah.
was some downed trees and stuff. So how's the recovery coming there in your neighborhood?
It's fine now. You wouldn't know anything came through. It wasn't as bad as I really made it out to be, but people did lose their roofs and part of their sidings on their trailers. I was scared because I was by myself, and I think I would have moved out of the house here into a hotel or something if it was going to be a more direct hit. Because my neighbors all stayed, so I figured I was safe enough to stay. But
So there's a prime example for all the critics out there calling LW a fear monger and a crazy. There's a prime example, a natural disaster, and if you prepare and prep and have some things, and yes, your stash can get blown away, it can get flooded. You do the best you can. There's always somebody out there that knows more than you do. Well, I'm not going to prepare because if a tornado comes through, it's going to wipe all my preps out anyway. You know, what a pessimist. I'm an optimist, so I'm going to prepare. And just a natural disaster alone is a good reason, especially you living in Florida, would be a wise decision. And I just think that a lot of Americans are ill prepared for any situation when it comes to natural disaster, a threat of war, threat of nuclear, unconventional warfare, any of that stuff. I just feel like if the power grid goes down or flooding, that a lot of Americans are just ill prepared. Now, there are a lot of Americans out there that are very well prepped up and prepared, and those are the people that are out there helping their neighbors, helping their brothers and sisters, and great. And we're so grateful for that. So, Lori, joining in this evening. I got another call I want to bring up, but it's good to see you.
It's good to see you too, Mike.
All right, stay safe, and I'll keep praying for you.
Thank you.
All right.
God bless.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, let's bring in our next caller. We got Calamity. I like to call her Calamity Jane, but she goes by Calamity Girl from Wyoming, the great state of Wyoming. Let's bring her in. How's it going there, Calamity Girl?
Oh,
there you are. Okay. How are you?
I'm good. Yesterday. I don't have any earphones in, but I wanted to touch on, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
First, last night I wanted to bring up the ghosts in China, and they have these ghosts, and you can Google it. You can look it up. I mean, it's open to anybody who wants to see it. And they have like Paris and I think other cities, and then Jackson Hole, Wyoming. No joke. Google it. Check it out. A few weeks ago, one of my neighbors' cabin, I would see them maybe once or twice a year. And my husband and I up on their kids and everything. And now keep in mind, Wyoming is the smallest in the union, population-wise. Approximately 250,000 registered voters.
Okay.
So keep that in mind. Now our school districts, not like, really big. They're small.
Hold on just a second there, Calamity. Hold on just a second, because you are breaking up. But let me reiterate what she was saying so that you guys understand what the conversation is, because I think she had something pretty unique to share with you guys, her opening statement. So she asked if anybody knew what a Chinese ghost city was. And she talked about Paris, but the one that's got her interested is Jackson Hole, Wyoming. What is a Chinese ghost city? I've heard talk of it. I haven't done much research on it. I told you that I would. I've been traveling all day, so I haven't had an opportunity to really dive into it or dig on it. But I am going to dig on it, and maybe some of the people in the chat could drop some comments in there on what a Chinese ghost city is, because it sounds concerning to me. And to have Jackson Hole, Wyoming on that list, is that a city that's been bought, paid for from China? I don't know. That's what it kind of sounds like to me. China has been over here in the United States buying up property all over the place. A lot of it now, the focus is in North Dakota, primarily farm ground right around military bases. So it is something to be alarmed about and something to be concerned about. So thank you for bringing that to our attention, and we will dig into it, and we will come back and report on what is a Chinese ghost city and what does that mean for America. So the second part that she started speaking about is living in the state of Wyoming. Wyoming has probably, if not the first, but the second least populated state in America, maybe second to Alaska. I'm not sure. Alaska, very big state, not a lot of people. Is Alaska number one, or is Wyoming number one?
Wyoming's number one.
Wyoming's number one. So Wyoming, which I love Wyoming. I spent 2 years there working on and off. I worked in Casper. I worked in Gillette. I worked in Douglas. I worked in Rawlings, which is an armpit. So I've been all over Wyoming, and I tell you what, I love Wyoming. The Bighorn Mountain Range is absolutely my favorite. And if I had anywhere to pick besides Idaho to live, it would be either Wyoming or Alaska. I want to go where there's less people, and I'd love to buy a ranch in Wyoming and just kind of disappear.
Like this. Can you hear me better?
Yeah, that's a little better.
You mentioned Casper.
You can kill your camera. You can turn your camera off and just speak right into the mic. There you go. Now you can just speak right into the mic.
Okay. In Casper, a school district there that teaches, I'm sorry, my dog. Oh gosh. District there that is teaching and dual immersion language, which is great. However, the dual they are teaching in the school district, and I will send you proof of it. It's right on their website. It's right on.
And what are they teaching? What are they teaching in the school districts? I didn't quite hear it, so I can share it with the audience. What are they teaching in that school district in Wyoming there?
Mandarin, Chinese.
Oh, so they're teaching Chinese. Okay, so they're teaching Chinese language in this school.
Immersion. So they teach the children their Chinese, and in subjects that are they teach in English.
Are you trying to give me a heads up on something? Do I need to brush up on my Chinese? I kind of joked around with Jeff B a while back because Jeff speaks Chinese and he speaks Mandarin too. So I asked Jeff if I needed to brush up on any of my Chinese, and he laughed and kind of just walked away from the conversation. I didn't like how that ended.
Well, I will tell you, it's the same as mine. However, putting both there is something that not many people have done. And
Gotcha.
Should I hang up? Should I hang up now and let you speak?
You know what? Yeah, I got another caller, so we're going to move on. Calamity, thank you for sharing that. And what I'll tell you is I'll do my homework on what these ghost towns are that you're speaking of, and I'll get back to you on it.
Sounds great.
All right, thanks for calling in. All right, I see some of the comments. I got another caller I'm going to get to next. I see some of the comments in chat, and some of you are talking about the ghost towns in Nevada, and a ghost town is where people don't live. I think there's a different meaning to this, folks, because I've kind of heard about this before. I understand the ghost towns in Nevada. We have ghost towns here in Idaho too. I've been to several ghost towns, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's a different meaning to this. It's a little deeper than that, and I know I've heard it once before, and I cannot put my finger on it yet. Hung chow means choking on food. Oh boy, I don't want to learn Chinese. I have a hard enough time with just English alone. I don't need to add to my problems. I know a little Spanish, enough to get myself in trouble. Let's bring our next caller, Kathy H. How's it going, Kathy?
No, please, you have enough trouble with English. Holy
Yes,
cow.
I do. I don't need to add. I don't need to add to my problems.
You have no idea how many times I yell at you to tell you how to pronounce something.
Oh, I get people that actually they'll type it in chat for me on how to pronounce it. So I do appreciate
absolutely.
it. I'm just a redneck from Idaho, man. I'm all about the woods, and English was like my least favorite subject, if you couldn't tell.
Well, that's okay. You're catching up. Your ghost towns were actually designed to climatize Chinese people to become more American, so they could infiltrate into our governments and our communities. And the more of these that you find, that's what they were used for during the Cold War. Now, whether they're still doing that, I looked up her Jackson Hole, and Jackson Hole now is a wealthy resort town. Well, the only people that are wealthy are the CCP bureaucrats. So that's usually what that's used for.
Yeah,
but
Jackson
it's a very
Hole.
good read. I've read up on them before, and they're amazing.
Well, thanks for sharing that with us, because I'm actually only about an hour and a half from Jackson Hole right now, where I'm at. We go to Jackson Hole quite often, and it is a very, very wealthy town. Lots and lots of billionaires there. But did you guys hear what Kathy said? They were cities built in China to teach the Chinese on how to infiltrate and become more American. And I think that's very important. So when Calamity, here's my question for you, Kathy. So when Calamity brings up Paris is one of those and Jackson Hole may be one of those, what's your thought on that? What do you think is meant by that?
Well, if you go back 25 or 30 years, and I'm sure that Jeff B is nodding his head, that they were infiltrating in, they are Chinese nationals, but they know how to get around our cities and get around our countries, because they can Google Earth and literally recreate everything. So I think that's what they were used for. We've heard over the last decades or two that people have been arrested for infiltrating our government or stealing secrets or whatever. But I think that's what they were doing, was using these communities to do that with.
I see a couple of comments that are coming up in chat, and they're great comments. And I see Michael Gale too, if he wants to hop up here and talk about this, because I also, so now you triggered my memory on something. I remember doing some research. It's been quite a while ago, where these ghost towns that they put in the desert in China, and they actually had the buildings laid out and ships and all kinds of different things that they actually were learning the layout in cities. And I don't know if they were just in America. They very well could have been cities around the world and other places. I'm gonna have to change my mic here in a minute. I'm getting texts that my mic's going in and out. I might have grabbed the wrong mic, so this one might be going dead. So I'll grab one. Let me just finish my thought. That these cities were made, and I have to do some more research on it, because I want to make sure that I'm telling you right. But it seemed like somewhere out in the desert in China, they actually had mocked up these cities. So I don't know what that means. Your thoughts on that, Kathy?
I think I saw the same article. The one I saw was they had done a couple of our aircraft carriers right to scale, so that they knew if they got on board that ship, they would know exactly where they were. I don't know how they would do the below deck part, but there were screenshots of them by Google Earth, and you probably could find them if you looked hard enough. But these ghost cities aren't necessarily ghost towns like we would think them to be. Now, we've got them in Nevada, you've got them in Idaho. They've been abandoned, but these aren't abandoned. They're using them. And these people go there to learn how to be American.
I think
Or
that's
French.
a very good point. And again, I remember in my research of finding something very similar to that. And so I think that's what Calamity just found out, and she was wanting to share that information. So thanks for that topic, Calamity, and thanks for hopping up here and sharing that with us, Kathy. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. As far as Trump is concerned, I still believe he's still the commander in chief. And everything that's going on he's aware of it, but he can't be involved because we know where the finger pointing has been going, even though he's not involved. So they can point the fingers all they want. I'm going to repeat what Carlene put on about 15 scrolls ago. Donald J. Trump never conceded. He never gave in, he never gave up, and he never rolled over and played dead.
Okay. Hey, I love that. That's sharing your opinion. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, not a problem. You guys have a great night, and I will see you in chat.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, Kathy H. I appreciate it. Anyone else want to call in and give me a comment about nuclear threat, about these Chinese cities? I saw Michael Gell's comment where he says, Mike, it is for after a nuclear war for people that survived the war. Here's something that I want to throw out there at you. We've had the affidavit mamas on, right? We have talked about FEMA camps, concentration camps. I don't know what they truly are, but Viking King, who has been watching us for a long time, and I just seen him in the chat just the other day, lives in the state of New York and actually went and physically visited one of these facilities. And he said that while he was there, and he obviously didn't walk in, but he said when he was looking toward the gate that the security team, military team, I don't know what you want to call it, looked of Asian descent. Is that CCP? I don't know. Why would there be camps with potential CCP soldiers, guards? I don't know what you want to call them here in America. Just a question. So could there be? Here's one that ought to get you guys going. I'm gonna drop the link here after I say this. Could it be, hypothetically, they come in with an EMP, take down the power grid, total chaos, let Americans have at it, because a lot of experts say if the power grid went down in 48 to 72 hours, we'd lose 50% of the population here in America. Then they come in and round the rest of us up and put us in those camps. I don't know. Are the camps for that? Are the camps for something else? Are the camps for the host burn it down? I don't know. They could send me there, I guess. Just a question, just a thought. Is this all building up, and is there tension enough between China and Russia that something like that could happen? I don't know. I just believe that there's too many Americans here in this country that have firearms. There's over 400,000 registered firearms here in America. So for anybody to try to come in here and boots on the ground invade us, I just don't see that happening. I don't think that would be wise of any military to come in here and fight the military, the United States military, and then the United States citizens on top of that. I just don't think that that would be a wise decision. But if you unleashed an EMP that took down the power grid, especially in the middle of winter, and caused the American people to riot and to pillage and go into a complete frenzy about losing the power grid, allow all that to happen for 30 days, it'd probably be a whole lot easier to come in here at that point. I don't know. That's just a conspiracy theory. That's just me thinking craziness. But how crazy is it really? So here is the link if you guys want to call in and comment on anything I just said on the topic of a nuclear threat, the Chinese ghost towns, any of that stuff. There's the link. Call in. We're coming up here on 50 minutes, so I could probably take one or two callers before we end the night. And tomorrow, I'm going to give you guys a heads up. So channel 1 is taken down. If we get taken down tonight, we'll be on channel 5. If we come up tomorrow, the topic will be the J6 prisoners. So burn it down tomorrow night will be the J6 prisoners. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, I just seen a video today where Marcy Taylor Greene and Matt, is it Gates or I believe it's Gates. They did a video where they made a phone call to the facility and said, hey, we want to come and check on the prisoners and you guys are not allowing us. Now, I don't know how old that video is. I don't know if that's a video from a year and a half ago or a year ago when they did their little photo op. I don't know if this is something fresh and new that they're getting back on that horse to try to do something for the J6 prisoners. I'm not sure. I haven't verified it. It was just a video that popped up today while I was driving, and so I clicked on it. Geets. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but you guys know who I'm talking about. So I don't know. We're going to talk about that possibly tomorrow night if I have time to hop on. It might have to be earlier in the night so I can get it in before I have plans tomorrow evening. So be prepared for Burn It Down series to maybe show up a couple hours earlier tomorrow night. So that we can get that in, because I'd really like to talk about the J6 prisoners. Anybody who wants to come up and talk about those, get your stuff prepared for tomorrow. The comments that you want to make or the questions that you want to ask. And we will talk about the J6 prisoners tomorrow. But let's finish the night off with a nuclear threat to America. The ripple effect of what's going on in the Ukraine and Russia. Ghost towns, Chinese ghost towns. What are they prepping for? Concentration camps or FEMA camps that are all over America. I know for a fact there's one in New York. I know there's one in effect in Oregon. And so are we being blind to a lot of this stuff? Are we just going out on about our lives and just not paying attention? Is this something that they're sliding in right under our noses? Now, I'm not telling you that I'm going to live in fear, but wouldn't you want to be informed on this stuff? Wouldn't you want to know what's really going on, especially if it's something that's right there in your own home state? Wouldn't you want to know what that is? And wouldn't you want to be able to have plenty of time to prep and prepare for a natural disaster or for an EMP or for a possible unconventional nuclear strike, whether it be the mother of all mothers, or if it's just something like a little dirty bomb. So just questions that I ask, information that I put out to you, the viewer, and you can do with it whatever you want. You can call me crazy. You can call me a fearmonger. You can just click off and not watch. That's okay. But I'm trying to give you that information and wake you up so that you see this and you go, okay, even if this guy is crazy, I might want to stack up a few more cans of chili and some water just in case. And more importantly, I might want to go get some more ammunition just in case. I don't know. All heck breaks loose, right? I just really believe that we should be prepared as we possibly can, because I feel when it comes to the nuclear threat that America is so unprepared. If you want to know and fact check me, France, Italy, Poland, Russia, Ukraine, they're all prepping and preparing for a nuclear event. So they are cleaning out and restocking bunkers, and we're talking tens of thousands of them all over Europe. Russia has been preparing for this for decades. Their citizens have been trained that if there is an event, they know exactly where they need to go in their town. They know exactly in the bunker where they'll stay. They know exactly where their children are going to be in that bunker, and they know exactly what they need to bring from their home to the bunker to add to the preps for those bunkers. Now, Poland is doing the same thing, and if you don't believe me, fact check me. It's all out there right now. It's going on, and if they're prepping, my question to you is, why is Americans not prepping? Just a question. Will we survive something like that? I don't know. Heck, if they hit me close enough here in Idaho, I'd never feel a thing. So not a big deal to me. But if they only hit Washington, D.C., is that going to affect me here in Idaho? Is that going to affect you guys over there on the West Coast of California? All these scenarios go through my head. What if? And then I try to prepare for that. So, yeah, the mother of all bombs here at the nuclear site, which is 45 minutes north of me. It's all over for me. But you guys might survive. You might want to survive. You might not want to survive. I don't know. So I'm going to drop. Let me read Debbie Golden real quick. Let me read what she just put in there about Monkey because I watched the video. Monkey Works today thinks the military moving troops to 50 states is for the aftermath of Mr. T's arrest. Very valid point, Debbie Golden. And I don't disagree with that. Let me touch on that for just a second because I do know a couple things. Hypothetically, if Donald Trump goes and sits in front of Congress to testify, hypothetically, and they decide to issue an indictment, hand down an indictment that he has, in fact, been connected to the insurrection of J6, which I don't believe it was an insurrection. Okay? Not on my scale. Not on my opinion of what an insurrection would be. Okay? Critics can argue and debate me that till the cows come home. I could care less. But if they were to indict him and then put out a warrant for his arrest, and he was to be arrested, is that going to be the first arrest that shocks the world? And have they been using heavy lifters to move assets around this country for what we call hotspots in case that was to happen? Just a question. I do have some information on that. I've shared as much of it as I can with you guys. If I knew more that would make any more of a difference in what I just said, I would gladly share that with you, especially if I got the okay to share it with you guys. But is that going to be the arrest that shocks the world? And why? That's my biggest question. Why? I understand that they do not want this guy back in office. They do not want this guy running again in 2024. It just doesn't make sense to me personally. I just don't see what the benefit would be, even to the left, if they were to arrest Donald Trump. Is that the signal? Is that something that would get this whole thing moving? I don't know. But Debbie Golden, yes, that is something that I am paying attention to, and I am watching. I am watching what Monkey Works puts out. Plus, Jeff B also tracks the movement of aircraft, and there is another source that also watches the movement of aircraft. And if you guys go back and watch Monkey Works, which I did today while I was driving, he looked like he was about to crawl out of his skin for whatever reason. He was very, very uncomfortable. He was very, very concerned. I don't know if I've ever seen Monkey Works act that way. So I think, and it's only my opinion, I think Monkey Works knows a possible reality or scenario that could come true very, very soon. And he is either, and this is only speculation on my part, he is either very concerned because the event and the outcome could send half of America into a frenzy. And when I mean that, I mean the half that took part in the summer of blood of 2020. And there needs to be military assets in place to suppress that, control it, extinguish it immediately. Or the other reality is Trump gets arrested and the other side loses their mind and gets crazy. And again, they need to put that fire out really quick. That's what I see from the body language from Monkey, and it's purely speculation on my part. I have no clue. I just know that reading body language and how a influencer presents information to people, being an influencer myself, I watch body language. I listen to the tone. When people get emotional, their voice will get squeaky and crack. What he delivered the other day, it caused me to have concern. Military is on its way, Mimi. Possible. Remember what they said. In closing tonight, I'm going to leave you with this. Since nobody is calling, I'm going to leave you with this. Purely speculation on my part. A lot of people do not believe that there is going to be a 2020 election. I do see a reality of that happening. How does that happen? Well, they said it'd be a nuclear winter. They said there would be a nuclear event or threat. It's looming. I've given you guys all of the data points that you need to know how serious this really is. If there is an event like a nuclear scare or any kind of scare, Joe Biden just signed another executive order that gives him executive powers, and he could very well suspend the 2022 elections. Is that because he's forced to? Is this the part that they usher in Donald Trump? The military comes in. That's what Monkey's seeing. Purely speculation on my part. That is one very narrow, blurry road that I could see Trump coming back. That is purely speculation on my part. But that's the only way I feel like they would be able to stop the midterm elections. And if they stop the midterm elections, would there be, because Monkey showed this, purely speculation on my part, would there be trials? And if there are trials, what do those trials entail? Would it be people being held accountable for election fraud? Would that all come out? Would that be big news? Would that change the whole situation with the 2022 midterm elections? Is that a path for Trump to come back? Purely speculation on my part. But a lot of people like to talk about it. I enjoy talking about it because I think there's all kinds of different realities. Again, in my world, the reality that we get depends on the actions of us, the actions of the military, the actions of Donald Trump, the actions of Putin and what's happened in Ukraine, and the actions of the clown in the White House right now, which has never sat behind the resolute desk that I've seen. Doesn't look like Biden himself. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on about what I think, right? So, you guys, thanks for the callers tonight. I know we had a couple of them. I really enjoy the call-ins. I enjoy people coming up here and giving their perspective on these things. You know, Kathy H., she said it. She believes that Donald Trump is still president of the United States. And I have to say, he has never conceded. Of course, the critics are going to say, well, that doesn't make him president. But it is a game changer, in my opinion, because he never did concede. Is there things going on behind the scenes that we're not seeing? I believe so. And how big of a part is it for him? Is it more of a military operation? Is it more that he's just kind of like a manager of the football team, but the military is the football team, and he's not really the quarterback right now because he's had to step away? I know that we've talked about that lots of times here at LWN. Again, purely speculation on my part, but hey, we can all hope, we can all dream, and we can all have a good time and live life to the fullest. We don't have to live in this fear. Even if something happened like a nuclear event, hey, I'm going to heaven. So I may go there sooner than I thought. May not. I don't know. Might have to stick around here a little while longer and hang out with you guys. But I tell you what, I don't live in fear because I know where I'm going. My heart is right. It's with the Father through his Son, Jesus Christ. And he is my salvation and he is my Savior, not Donald Trump. Donald Trump is still my president, but my Savior is Jesus Christ. I'm going to end on that note, folks. So God bless each and every one of you. Have a great evening and share. Love y'all. We'll see if we're back up on 5 or we're back up on this channel here in the next day or two. Thank you, guys. God bless.
Hoping for a sincere performance, but open to finding the moment, to finding out where I'm headed now. Looking for a sign of disaster, so I can make it there faster. I'm weighing the consequences out. I can see in all directions. It's all open to interpretation, but I see colors that are breaking from the other side, the other side. When I make mountains out of summer trails, when I buckle under all the details, I'll keep going till I make it to the other side, the other side. Can you tell me the secret of how you can take it or leave it? How you can blend in with the crowd? I'm so scared, so damn afraid to look. I'm so sick of talking. I'm wearing the words out, words out. I can see in all directions. It's all open to interpretation, but I see colors that are breaking from the other side, the other side. When I make mountains out of summer trails, when I buckle under all the details, I'll keep on the battlefield.